You wake up every morning chasing something you can't quite name. Maybe it's peace, maybe success, maybe just the feeling that you're finally becoming enough. You scroll through endless videos about discipline, watch people romanticize waking up at 4 a.m., journaling, cold showers, and hustling like machines. You tell yourself this is growth. This is how people evolve. But deep down, something feels off. You're exhausted. You keep chasing progress, but somehow the more you do, the emptier you feel. What if this isn't improvement? What if it's just another illusion? One that's slowly killing the real you. It all starts innocently. You want to be better. Everyone does. You start reading books on habits, following motivational pages, making to-do lists, tracking your day like a scientist of your own failure. For a while, it feels like power. You're in control now, finally becoming that version of yourself the world respects. But as time passes, you start noticing something strange. You don't feel lighter, you feel heavier. Every day begins to feel like a test you didn't study for. Because self-improvement, the way it's sold today, isn't about peace, it's about performance. You're no longer improving yourself to live better. You're improving yourself to look better while dying quietly inside. The modern world has turned growth into a brand, productivity into religion. You are told that who you are right now is not enough, and they sell you 1,000 ways to fix yourself. Wake up earlier, read more, grind harder, smile wider. They call it leveling up. But the truth? You're not leveling up. You're just upgrading your mask. Every time you try to fix yourself, you silently confirm to your mind that something in you is broken. You've been made to believe that stillness is laziness, that rest is weakness, that existing as you are is a sin against potential. You've confused exhaustion with purpose and silence with failure. Somewhere along the way, self-improvement became self-punishment. You stopped growing out of love for yourself and started growing out of fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of falling behind, fear of being ordinary. The books you read, the podcasts you binge, the routines you worship, they've all become a way to avoid sitting with yourself. Because sitting with yourself is terrifying. You might discover that all this time, you've been improving the surface while your core remains untouched. You've learned to perform wellness without ever feeling well. You've mastered looking confident while your mind quietly screams for rest. And maybe you've felt it too, that invisible pressure, the kind that tells you that if you're not constantly working on yourself, you're wasting your life. You open your phone, and there they are, people doing more, achieving more, living faster. You compare your real life to their highlight reel and call it motivation. But it's not motivation. It's slow poison. Every scroll whispers, you're not there yet. You're not enough yet. And you believe it. So you keep running, keep optimizing, keep consuming every piece of advice you can find, hoping one of them will finally fix you. But what if you were never broken in the first place? The human mind isn't meant to live on constant upgrade mode. You are not a program to be debugged every week. You're a living being, meant to rest, feel, fail, and evolve slowly. Not through checklists, but through experience. Real growth doesn't scream, it whispers. It happens quietly when you start forgiving yourself for not being perfect. When you realize you don't have to hustle to deserve peace. When you stop performing your healing and start living it. The irony of this generation is that we are so obsessed with improving ourselves that we've forgotten how to be ourselves. The illusion of self-improvement is powerful because it gives you a false sense of control. It tells you that if you just fix one more thing, your body, your habits, your mindset, then happiness will finally come. But it never does. Because happiness isn't waiting at the end of improvement. It's buried under the noise you're trying to escape. The moment you stop running, you start hearing it again. That quiet voice you've been drowning out with podcasts and productivity. It's been there the whole time, whispering, you were already enough, but you were too busy improving to listen. Think about it. How much of your life has been spent trying to become someone else's definition of better? You wake up chasing a version of yourself that doesn't even exist. You measure your worth in achievements, your peace in productivity, your value in validation. You've mistaken busyness for growth, perfection for progress, and pain for purpose. And slowly, without realizing it, you've become addicted to becoming. You can't stop, because stopping feels like failure, and failure feels like death. But what if stopping is the only way to live? Real growth doesn't look perfect. It's messy. It's slow. It's painful. It's not about reading 50 books a year. It's about actually applying one lesson deeply enough to change you. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. It's about waking up with purpose. It's not about being positive all the time. It's about being honest with yourself, even when it hurts. Growth isn't a performance. It's a process. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to pause, to stop consuming and start feeling, to let silence rebuild you where noise once lived. You don't need another how to improve your life tutorial. You don't need another influencer telling you to grind harder. You need to remember who you were before the world convinced you that you were broken. You need to learn how to exist without needing to earn your right to exist. You need to forgive yourself for not being where you thought you should be, because maybe where you are right now, tired, lost, imperfect, is exactly where your real growth begins. So here's your reminder. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to find yourself. You don't need more goals. You need more peace. You don't need to chase success. You need to chase stillness. Because the person you're trying to become is already inside you, waiting for you to stop pretending and just listen. If this message found you in a moment of exhaustion, take it as your sign to slow down, to breathe, to rest without guilt. Because you are not falling behind. You are simply unfolding. And when the world tells you to keep pushing, keep improving, keep performing, remember this: peace is not the absence of growth. Peace is growth. If these words resonated with you, don't just click away. Reflect. Disconnect from the noise for a while. Share this with someone who's been trying too hard to be better. Because sometimes the most radical act of self-improvement is learning to love yourself exactly as you are, unpolished, unfinished, and beautifully human.